Hello everyone, my name is Auro and welcome to the 12th devlog of Mortal Glory 2, a turn-based gladiator roguelike. And let's get started right away. So first of all, one very quick thing I added was this detail page, which I think will be nice to look at from time to time to get some interesting tidbits of information. Currently it's not functional just yet, but I just added this small visual to remind myself to actually implement that at some point. So my idea with Mortal Glory 2 is that unlike in the first one, in this one the characters can actually level up. I'm thinking that there might be something like 10 levels or something like that, and it will probably be preset so that at specific levels you might be able to choose a new skill, perhaps a new perk, or maybe just bonus stats for your character. I still need to decide on all of that, but basically now I made the functionality for that yeah, you can choose a stat to increase that or a skill, and that will be added to your existing skills if you have actually room for that. As a small quality of life detail, I also made it so that you can actually back out of the level up window. So for example, if there's a skill you're gonna pick, maybe you want to look at some other characters in your team if there's some synergy benefits, so yeah, you can back out and then come back later to choose the skill. The level up window is pretty much fully functional now, but yeah, I know what you might be thinking is that, well, it's not very pretty. Yeah, I know, but that will come later when I do a full UI overhaul, so yeah, it will have to remain quite ugly for now. Moving on to the next thing, I decided to start working on the item stat distributions and basically stat balancing, which is not very exciting. I feel like the balancing is always one thing I hate to do the most, but yeah, it's something that is needed, so I'm not gonna go too deep into that, but yeah, basically what I tried to do was that each item at least usually would have this main stat. For example, if you have a sword, maybe the main stat is physical damage, and I wanted to make it so that as the rarity level and the quality level of the item increases, then the main stat would usually always be higher with the higher rarity. I also tried the fully random that just dump more stats into the item, but it didn't feel very enjoyable if you had a sword that was super rare but the damage was actually lower than in a a lower quality sword. So yeah, there's all sorts of stuff like that you need to think about, but yeah, it's kind of boring. Then next I did the same for the characters. So in the end each race will have this different distributions, so maybe Minotaur will have a high strength and stuff like that. That's still something I need to configure later on, but yeah, now there's some actual logic behind distributing the stats when the character is created. Then moving on to completely something else, I entered the battle scene of the game, and what I started thinking about again actually was the turn indicators for the characters. So yeah, I added this outline graphic with a shader to the units, which I think could be quite nice looking for the turn indicator. While testing this out, I did run into some issues. First of all, I had to adjust the sprites so that they have 1 pixel of empty space around them, so there's no clipping with the outline. And then I had some issues with the actual map, like I have these pillars in the map which are actually like cut in the middle so that the front part, I mean the bottom part is behind the characters and the top part will then actually be on top of the characters, like visually. Well, my simple solution to this problem of like one pixel of the outline showing in the middle was to just mask out the shader. So yeah, it will no longer show the like bottom pixels. So kind of a hacky way to solve it, but yeah, it fixed the issue. So yeah, that's what I went with. But with all this work and testing, it just highlighted the problem that the movement felt kind of glitchy when going around the pillars. I mean, the movement is kind of fast, so you might not necessarily like notice it so well. But I mean, when I was like testing this and really focusing on it, it was kind of annoying seeing like the units just go behind the pillar at some point and then maybe like glitching at some point visually. And yeah, there was actually lots of stuff I tried and tested. I don't think it's very interesting for me to go in all the details, but yeah, basically in the end I realized that Unity actually has this like built-in solution for sorting the sprites. So you need to go into settings to enable it, but basically you can make it so that if you have sprites on the same layer, then you can set it so that, for example, based on the y-axis, the game will like automatically sort them in the right order based on that. So I wasn't using that before. I actually had my own solution of just like checking the coordinate and then adjusting the like layer, which isn't as easy as the built-in solution, but I didn't know it existed. But yeah, I switched to using that, and then when I also have the pillars on the same layer, then the game will automatically detect at which point the unit will be shown on top of the pillar and which point it'll be shown on the like back of the pillar. There were still some small adjustments I need to do, but overall I think this made the like visuals look a lot better when going around the pillars. At this point I also did some thinking, like if the game would look better if the like feet of the units would actually be like in the middle of the cell, unlike now when the feet are at the bottom of the cell and the unit is completely within the one like cell or tile. But after testing it out a bit, I realized that no, it just won't look good that way. Like in some situations it looks good, it's like more 3D kind of, but yeah, I don't know, in many situations it also looked kind of wrong. For example, when you're targeting and it highlights the cells, then the unit graphics doesn't really like mesh well with that, and yeah, it looked a bit awkward. So yeah, I decided to stick with what I got currently, and it didn't really bother players in the first game, so I figured, okay, maybe it won't bother them in this one either. Probably just something that stuck to my eye when I was looking at this so closely. Then I also adjusted some of the additional visuals, like for example my skill missile visuals. So yeah, now those will also probably check if the missile should be behind a pillar or in front of it, visually I mean. But hey, that's actually everything I have for this devlog. So as per usual, if you have any comments, feedback, new ideas maybe, or anything like that, let me know in the comments below. And yeah, hey, otherwise, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.